We'll have to see if they can get something going. They've got the top of the order that will be due up. Matt Sather, Dave Rathjen, and Joe Pleskotch. For Alliance in the top of the 7th. No runs, 2 hits, no Blair Ayres. After 6.5 innings of play, the score Alliance 8, Blair 5.
Here's how to find the tasty.
And really walked not one batter in that time, so an excellent job by Joe. His defense fell apart in the 5th. 4 errors allowed Alliance to plate 4 runs.
And obviously, if you take away those errors, you would take away those runs, and this game would already be over, and Blair would be the state champion, but that's not the way it works.
Bottom of the 7th inning, Matt Sather. 0 for 1 with a sacrifice and a walk.
And this is probably Matt Sather's biggest time at bat of the season. He needs to get on base, and it doesn't matter how. The last couple innings, Alliance defensively playing with great confidence. I believe they've changed pitchers, Dave. That's
Tim Baer, number 5, is now pitching.
As you said, that other pitcher may have run out of innings. Have to see if Kim Baer can come in and throw strikes. Sometimes in having not played the whole game and then coming in to relieve in the 7th inning.
Well, he's been in center field.
Well, having not pitched the whole game and then coming in, there's a lot of pressure. But he was, I believe they said, their winning pitcher last night in the game against Plattsmouth. However, Plattsmouth did score 10 runs, so we can't assume that he pitched too well. We'll just see how he does now.
We're not sure who went to center field. Maybe they'll tell us that a little bit later here.
And now to make things a little harder for Blair, the wind picks up a little bit, blowing directly in from center field.
Matt Sather at the plate to face pitcher number 4, Tim Baer. First pitch, ball 1.
It looked good, but apparently was outside. As we said, Matt Sather going to look at a few pitches because he wants to make sure this guy can throw strikes before he takes a swing.
2-0. Bottom of the 7th. 3 balls, no strikes to Matt Sather.
I think Matt will look at least 1 and maybe 2 here because you really need him on base.
3-0 pitch by Tim Baer on the way. Ball 4, Matt Sather draws a walk. Blair trails by 3. Catcher Eric Burbach comes out to have a word, as does Coach Garza.
And of course, having to make a visit this early, if Coach Garza has to come out again, he's got to pull his pitcher. Now he's bringing everybody in. As we said, Dave, psychologically, that's the best thing that could happen for Blair. You really need to get that first guy on, and they have gotten him on. You've got to make Alliance think a little bit because that's where the defensive mistakes come into play sometimes, and that's kind of been the story of this game tonight, a lot of defensive mistakes.
Dave Rathjen, Blair's center fielder, and number 3 hitter will be at the plate. Coach Sievers and Coach Peterson striding in toward the batter's box.
Well, I think they'd like to. They want to make the pitcher Baer on the mound think as much as they can because he didn't come really close there as he threw 4 straight balls to Matt Sather. If he walks another man, then you've got the tying run in the plate in the form of Joe Pleskotch, who could quickly tie a game up in this.
Blair using a pinch runner now. Scott Nelson coming in, and he will pinch run for Matt Sather at first base. Nelson, a sprinter for the Blair track team.
And the advantage there, of course, if you get a chance on a close play at second, he may be able to beat a play where Matt Sather might be thrown out, and you never know when that could really make a difference.
Dave Rathjen, the batter. Nobody out. Bottom of the 7th inning. This is it, folks. Ball.
You won't see Scott taking very many chances. Phil Sievers is yelling at him. You don't come off and make any dumb plays now because your run really doesn't mean anything.
0-1 to Nelson, or to Rathjen rather. Ball 2.
And I'm not sure where that pitch was. We've got someone kind of standing in our way, but it appeared that it must have been outside. It looked like it was at the belt.
Tim Bear struggling, pitching in relief here. Ball 3. 3-0. Coach Garza going out, Joe, so that'll be it for Tim Bear. He'll have to remove him from the pitcher's mound, and looks like Chad Coulter will come back in.
Chad Coulter pitched earlier in the game, and then he was taken out and moved to third base. So apparently they tried to go with Bear, who was their winning pitcher yesterday, but he simply couldn't find it. And I think the coach, realizing that, this is do or die, of course, wasn't going to wait too long. And if he throws one ball to Dave Rathjen, then we're going to see the tying run come to the plate in the face of Joe Pleskach.
Well, Schneider leaves center field. He comes back into third base. Bear goes back to center field, and Chad Coulter comes back to the pitcher's mound. Blair now with a runner at first base. The count 3-0 to the batter, Dave Rathjen, with Joe Pleskach on deck.
And you wonder now, Dave, about the re-entry rule. Should Blair tie this up, will Matt Sather be able to re-enter at first, or do they have the re-entry in the state tournament? We know they don't have the courtesy running rules, but I would assume they probably have the re-entry rule.
Bottom of the seventh inning, 8-5 the score. This is the 1990 American Legion Class B Midget Baseball Final. Alliance versus Blair. Alliance leading 8-5, but Blair trying to get something going here in the bottom of the seventh inning. The seventh and final inning. Scott Nelson running for Matt Sather at first base. Matt drew a walk as the first batter. Dave Rathjen out with a 2-0 count. Chad Coulter the pitcher. Ball 4, 2 runners on, nobody out.
And you can see neither team, Dave, has been completely able to come up with a big defensive effort and shut the other team down when they needed to up to this point.
Joe Pleskach, the cleanup hitter for Blair. Number 4 hitter comes to the plate. 0 for 2 today. 5 for 6 coming into today. Joe's been a big stick for him. He hit 1 out yesterday. Nobody out, 2 runners on. First pitch, ball 1.
And Joe's the kind of guy, of course, you said it, he hit 1 out, and the one he hit out, Dave, would have cleared by a long way, so he's got the power to tie this game up with 1 swing.
Tying run at the plate. Ball 2.
But he is not going to take that swing until the Alliance pitcher shows he can throw a strike, because he's the tying run. If he's walked onto base or gets a base hit, either way, it doesn't matter.
Chad Coulter trying to shut down Blair. Low, ball 3. Runners advancing.
Not.
Scott Nelson advances to third. Dave Rathjen holds at first. So now runners at the corners.
Dave didn't get off early, so he did the smart thing and came back. You don't want to take a chance getting thrown out.
3-0 the count to Joe Pleskach, Blair's cleanup hitter. Ball 4. Coulter walks him. Now we've got bases loaded, nobody out.
And Coach Garza is coming out again, and he's going to come with another pitcher. He's going to bring number 13, the third baseman, in to pitch, it looks like, or else he's just bringing the infield in to talk to him, maybe. No, he is going to change pitchers again.
So Jeff Schneider comes in. Chad Coulter moves to third.
Well, I'm not sure, Dave. Maybe you remember, but I don't think Alliance has thrown a strike yet in this inning. I think all 3 batters have walked on 4 straight pitches. So Alliance, which appeared to have a commanding 3-run lead when this inning began, suddenly finds themselves bases loaded, no outs, and facing one of the top RBI hitters on Blair's team.
Bases loaded, nobody out. The winning run at the plate, the tying run at first.
Dave Rathjen yelling in at Jim Cross and telling him to be smart up at the plate.
Jim Cross, the batter, 0 for 3 on the night. 1 for 5 coming in, that being a home run in the first ball game.
And if Jim could duplicate that feat, Dave, you'd see some awfully happy Blair people, because that would win the ball game. However, as we said, a little bit of wind blowing in might make that a little hard.
Blair dropped behind in this ball game by a score of 4-0 as we headed into the bottom of the third. Blair came up with 3 runs in the bottom of the third and 2 runs in the fourth to take a 5-4 lead, but that was short-lived. In the top of the fifth, Alliance came back with 4 runs of their own on 1 hit and 4 Blair errors to take an 8-5 lead. And not much has happened since then, but here now in the bottom of the 7th, Blair has loaded the bases, nobody out, with 3 walks off 3 different pitchers.
Both managers really, really intense right now. We hear Coach Garza over there talking to his assistant coach, and Phil, just a nervous wreck here, talking to each one of the base runners, making sure they all understand the situation here.
Jim Cross, the batter. Jeff Schneider on the mound. First pitch. Ball 1.
Jim ducks way under it. I don't understand the positioning here, but the infield drawn in tight.
Ball 2. Jeff
Seems
Schneider drops behind 0-2 or 2-0.
Seems to me, Dave, you'd want your infield back in this situation, because that cuts off. A hard hit ball is going to get through them when they're in this close a lot easier than when they're backed up.
2-0 pitch. Strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike now to Jim Cross.
Now Jim was obviously attempting to walk there. Now he's got a strike. I think you'll see him in a hitting mode. He's going to try to hit away here.
Low, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Jim Cross.
It would be, he's looking down to Coach Sievers because he's going to get a hit or take here.
3 straight walks have loaded the bases here in the bottom of the 7th. Blair trails by 3. 3-1 pitch. Swings and misses. Full count now to Jim Cross.
Jim has got to choke up now and just try to put the ball in play. I tell you, with that infield drawn in, Dave, any kind of a little bloop or a hard ground ball has got a good chance to to be a hit.
Scott Nelson's at third. Dave Rathjen at second. High fly ball, left fielder Justin Coupens underneath it. He makes the catch. That'll score 1. The play at second base is not in time.
And Joe did a very foolish thing there and not sliding, but he was fortunate enough to make it in. So Jim's sacrifice fly scores a run and moves the tying run to second base. And that ball was tunned. It's just, he got under it just a little bit too much, Dave, or this ball game would have been over on that swing.
Brings up the catcher, Joel Jacobson. 1 out, 1 run in, 8-7 the score. Blair trails by 2, the tying run at second now. And the coach calling in his infield again. So is that it for Jeff Schneider?
Well, I'm not sure.
Must be.
If he had come out and talked to him earlier, and he's going to have to
Well, that might be all the innings he had.
And now they're going to, are they going to go back to the left-hander that started the game? It looks like it.
James Garrett comes back in to pitch now.
And I imagine that left fielder was a little nervous as he stood under that towering fly ball. But he did a nice job and caught it.
Blair trails by 2 here. 8-6 the score.
Both coaches are really exhorting their teams, trying to give them instructions, tell them exactly what to do in every situation. What Blair would love to see right here, Dave, is a pass ball, because a pass ball would put them within 1 and move that tying run up to third.
Joel Jacobson, the batter. Dave Rathjen at third. Joe Pleskotch at second. The man on second is the tying run. And Alliance has used everybody but the bad boys to pitch here in this ball game, it seems like. PA announcer just said that Alliance has used 7 pitchers, actually 4 pitchers, with 3 men making 2 appearances each. So now runners at second and third, 1 away. Joel Jacobson, the batter, he is 1 for 3 tonight. Single to the right side in the 4th, flied out to right in both the 2nd and the 5th.
And Joel would give a lot of money right now to hit that single that he hit earlier in the game, because it was one that would probably score both runs here. And again,
Here
the
we
infield
go.
way in, Dave, way in, and you wonder what they'll do on a ground ball.
First pitch to Jacobson, ball 1. Garrett pitched through 2.5 innings before being relieved. Now it's back in. 1-1 now to Joel Jacobson.
And Coach Seaver's telling Joel now's the time, and I think he probably did have instructions to take a strike, and now he's going to hit away.
1-1 the count, 1 out. Ball blocked by the catcher.
As we said, a very, very big play, because if he doesn't block that, you move the tying run over to third base and score a run. Nice play by the catcher to get down and block that ball, because it hit 5 feet in front of home, it looked like.
Two balls, 1 strike to Jacobson. Ball 3, 3-1 now the count.
Coach Seaver's exhorting Joel, telling him if he gets his pitch, that's the time to do it. A walk simply sets up a force in every base.
3-1 pitch is what James Garrett has to convert on here.
Oh,
Strike 2, 3-2 now to Joel Jacobson.
and it looked like the pitcher just kind of eased up to throw that one for a strike. Joel thought it was a little inside, but that was the pitch he'd like to see him turn on.
Full count. 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Going back is Pat Brown. Underneath it, makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Tying run still at second base. That brings up Kyan Kingston.
Kingston with a whole load on his shoulders right here. A base hit has a good possibility to tie this game, because those runners will be moving. Anything less than that, and Alliance will probably go as the state champions.
All right, Kingston, 2 away, 2 runners on. Takes the first pitch, call strike 1. Blair a base hit away from tying it. Alliance 1 out away from winning it. Looping fly ball out to the left side. Justin Coupens there, makes the catch. And Alliance is the 1990 Class B state champion. As they mob each other on the field, the Blair players are very dejected. They saw victory taken from them back in the 5th inning when Alliance came up with 4 runs on 1 hit and 4 big Blair errors. And Alliance comes away as the 1990 Class B Midget Baseball champion. And Blair finishes with a record of 30-5 and runner-up. Our congratulations to Coach Phil Sievers and Dan Peterson, along with the entire Midget Baseball squad, on a fine season, one that we've thoroughly enjoyed broadcasting and bringing to you, and these boys have done nothing but reflect good things on themselves throughout the season.
And in a game where it just went back and forth, Alliance just did the right things at the right time, and they pulled it out. And I'm sure Blair is going to have nightmares about this one as time goes by, but it was two good teams playing each other, and it was a very pressure-packed state championship game, and those kind of things are going to happen. As you said, Blair had a terrific season, and you hate to fall one game short, but you beat out an awful lot of teams to get to this point, and only one team finished better than we did. So
Alliance 8 runs on 7 hits, 4 Blair errors. Blair 6 runs on 6 hits, 2 Alliance errors. Alliance, the 1990 Class B state champion. Blair, the 1990 Class B runner-up. A disappointed lot over there, but again, with a record of 30-5, Blair had tremendous success, and the whole community very, very proud of this group of young men and their coaches. Alliance finishes the year at 30-4. Alliance scored 1 run in the first as Ken Kingston walked 2 batters and then a single allowed Alliance to plate 1. Blair got out of the inning only giving up 1 run, but then in the top of the 3rd, Jeff Schneider singled, Tim Bear walked, and then Justin Coupens doubled to score both of them. Joe Pleskotch came in relief, struck out 2, and then gave up a single to Pat Brown, and Alliance owned a 4-0 lead after 2.5 innings of play. In the bottom of the 3rd, Larry Martin got things started with a bunt. Nate Williams singled. Derek Livermore singled. So 3 straight hits and a sacrifice by Matt Sather allowed Blair back in the ball game. They scored 3 runs in the 3rd to make it 4-3. And then in the 4th, Blair came up with 2 more runs. A single by Jacobson and a sacrifice by Kingston, a walk to Martin, and then an infield single to Williams again. Allowed Blair to plate 2 more runs to take a 5-4 lead, but then the disastrous 5th struck, where Blair gave up 4 runs on 1 hit by committing 4 big errors, and they just never really recovered from that. They loaded the bases in the bottom of the 7th on 3 straight walks, as Alliance kept changing pitchers to try and find somebody to put things out. And a sacrifice fly to Cross was the first out, a fly out to second, the second out, and a fly out by Kingston to left for the 3rd out. And Blair, with only 1 run, lost the ball game by a score of 8-6. So the Blair Midgets being presented their runner-up trophy, and that's it for Blair this year, a 30-5 record, the Class B runner-up. Disappointed bunch of young men over there, but when things settle and they have time to think about this, they'll remember that that's quite a feat, Joe, to go 30-5 and finish as the 2nd best team in the state.
It's really hard for them because of the tradition Blair has. They've seen all those numbers on the fence out at Vets Field and all the state championships that Blair's won, but I think this is just a continuation and a typical Blair team. You know, they were really good. They beat a lot of Omaha teams. They really had chances to win this game and just came up a little short at the end. So they, as you said, nothing to be ashamed of. And there haven't been many better midget teams, including some of the state championship teams that have played in Blair over the years. So
in this tournament, Blair beat Auburn in the opening game 15-3. They came back against O'Neill and won 5-3 to put them into the finals. Alliance defeated Wahoo 10-1 in the opening round and then dumped Plattsmouth 14-10 last night. And then they win the championship today by a score of 8-6 over Blair. So once again, that's it for us here from Auburn, and we want to express our appreciation to all of our sponsors who have been with us throughout this tournament and all year long, making these broadcasts possible. We hope that you will express your appreciation to them by patronizing their businesses. I'm Dave Warwick along with Joe Unstead and our cameraman Brent Boblitz, thanking you for viewing this interview, Cable Channel 18 special sports presentation.